Some big hits out there.
Absolutely. There's been some pretty spectacular hits from, so Florence the Machine was jamming in the previous jam. Unfortunately, she got sent for 2 track cuts in that previous jam, but she had a last defender as Veruca Assault, and she just smacked her way through, and Salty went down quite considerably. So up now we have Anita Amputate as jammer for South Sea Roller Derby, and she's up against Rocket Man. And still no lead jammer has been established, and we're up to turn 4, but Anita Amputate through for lead jammer.
Yeah, tough work by both packs there. Anita Amputate getting the better of it, and, well, her pack, South Sea pack, doing some great work. At the
Absolutely. Pepper laying out Rocket Man just at the front there. And so Rocket Man still having quite a bit of trouble getting through that pack.
Yeah. And Anita Amputate, well, this is her scoring pass, but she hasn't managed to get through yet. Ooh, gets called for the track. Oh, no. Doesn't get called for the track cut. It is Fang who goes for use of forearms there.
So Rocket Man's made her initial pass, so she's made it out of the pack, and considering she's up against Titosaurus, Harmon Miranda and Assault and Pepper, that is a very tough pack to be working her way through.
Oh, Anita Amputate there gets through a couple more points, 2 more on that pass, and calls off the jam.
Next out we have Veruca Assault. I think today's bout is actually more about the war of the warrior reeves, because we have Veruca Assault with her usual warrior tail, and Florence the Machine, who previously played for Brisbane City Rollers, has created her own South Sea warrior tail.
So Veruca Assault started that, did she?
She did. She started it at the last at Tropicarnage last year.
So is that a bit of an affront from Florence the Machine to say?
Absolutely. So that's very much like, check out what I could create, and she handmade hers as well, because I know that she personally sort of plaited that herself.
Well, some good jammer on jammer action there. Fizzy Gig getting hit out of bounds by Veruca Assault.
And she's successfully eaten the baby, so Fizz is now at the back of the pack and struggling to make her way through.
Well, this is what Brisbane City needed. They're behind on the scoreboard by 28 points right now. They need some good jamming and some good tactical jamming, as we just saw there from Veruca Assault.
Absolutely. So still, these teams are very evenly matched in terms of their strategy. They're both kind of successfully doing offense when it's necessarily and quickly switching through.
Well, Fizzy Gig skating very hard to try and get the points there, not managing to pick up the points on that final pass. Veruca Assault getting the 3 on the final pass. Scoreboard hasn't been updated for that last pass yet, or has it? Brisbane City now 18, South Sea 43.
And on the jammer lane we have Assault and Pepper up against Slasher Heart Scare Bear. So this is her first jam for the game, and Slasher Heart is kind of messing around with Assault and Pepper, kind of, doing a bit of intimidation. And Salt and Pepper through for lead jammer, gearing away around the track. She's got these beautiful long legs, wonderful stride. She's a magnificent skater to watch.
Well, ducking and weaving her way through there. Very nice to watch indeed.
Slasher Heart Scare Bear just having a bit of trouble at the back of the pack, getting held up by Danny Darko, and Coffin Candy laying her out at the back.
She also needs to be a little careful. That jammer panty almost popping off the top of that helmet.
It does look very ominously sitting, doesn't it?
One good hit and that might come loose.
And really, that's not so much a big trouble. It would if she had have made her initial pass and she'd be coming around for a scoring pass, but at this stage she's still...
Well, yeah, may not make a lot of difference right now. She is stuck in that pack. Yeah. South Sea doing a good job holding her up here.
Absolutely. Brisbane City Rollers really need to get in there and offer some very effective...
well, we're seeing a star pass here. So well, maybe that made the star pass a little easier, having it loose on the helmet there.
Yes, exactly. It sort of flipped off quickly. So we've passed the star off to Vixen, and still she's managed to hit out. But Slasher Heart Scare Bear offering some offense for her blocker. Yeah,
good hit there on, is that Danny?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So Salt and Pepper still just making her way around. She's scored a another 5 points, so she'll probably go around and score another couple if South Sea can slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, Brisbane City putting on the pace there, trying to. There she goes. She picks up the couple of points. No one in the penalty box by the look of it, so just the points, or just the 1 point on that pass.
Yep.
Signalled there.
But that's fine. It's more about the mental game, really, in that instance, where you can successfully hold that blocker at the back and score that 1 point, even if there were people in the bin. That's still an effective strategy. So, Veruca Assault up against Anita Amputate. So, both very steppy jammers. Anita Amputate is she's a wonderful skater to watch. She's got quite a lot of excellent lateral movement. And Veruca Assault she just manages to push her way through, biff and buff and given, like little baby seals all the way through. But she's through for lead jammer, so.
Yeah, Veruca Assault is lead jammer. Both of these jammers on a high rotation, and both these teams well? Did these skaters, the two jammers at the moment, are they playing the pack a lot too? Are they effective pack skaters as well as being excellent jammers that we're seeing?
Absolutely, they are very much effective pack skaters. But I think for this particular tournament, they are much better use in as a jammer rotation. And it looks as though Nita Amputate has made her way to the bin. I think it was for a track cut.
Yeah, I believe it was.
So leaving Veruca Assault to the track all by herself.
Yeah, we see Brisbane City on the go slow.
Yeah, absolutely. This passive offense is something that they've been struggling with, I believe, for the last little while. I think they really need to sort of change it up a little bit.
Well, it is the common sort of thread in roller derby now. They need to be careful not to go too far back and get a destruction of gameplay, destruction of pack penalty there, as we see.
Yep.
Another skater for South Sea off for a multiplayer block. Leaves South Sea very short on the track.
So Nita Amputate has made her way back onto the track and has made initial pass. Oh, Jammer F's a little slow on the call off that one. She was calling it off for about 5 centimetres.
Well, it looked like he might have dropped the whistle out of his mouth, so it took him a little while to get it back up there.
I see.
But
yeah.
I think that may have allowed Brisbane City to score a point on that pass too.
I believe it did, actually. So Copter's gone straight in there to have a word with with the ref.
Well, not much you can do about that one. The jam doesn't end until that first series of 4 whistles has been blown. So if the whistle's not in the mouth, the whistle's you can't blow it. So
what are you going to do? That's it. Oh my goodness! I just saw Cookie jumping the apex to try and block Sullivan, but to no avail. Unfortunately, that was beautiful. I don't think she even realised that she did that.
Well, Busy Gig out as lead jammer. Sullivan really skating hard to catch up and not too far behind now, but there's going to be another South Sea blocker in a way who's come out of the penalty box.
She's trying to claim that 1 point, but sadly she hadn't passed the hips just yet before the jam was called off.
Herbie the Shove Bug. I do like that name.
It's a good name. Yeah, she's a good skater. She's a good pack blocker. Absolutely. She's usually the last defender. She's one of those skaters that you sort of encounter quite a bit as the jammer. Florence
the Machine taking the star now for South Sea.
And up against Fang, number 11. So Fang trying to make it through on the inside line. She's only got 2 defenders at the moment to contend with, but Harm has just made her way back from the bin. And Coffin Candy laying her out, but pretty obvious elbow there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that elbow was a fair way from the body when it made contact, so fair enough penalty there.
Yeah, absolutely.
See Florence the Machine now getting through the pack, but she's not lead jammer and not on a scoring pass. Fang is on a scoring pass, picks up the 4 and calls it off.
Absolutely. Some very effective offense there from Nasty in the previous jam, laying Darko out quite unexpectedly. I don't think she quite realised that what was happening there.
Well, we see a timeout here called by Brisbane. Definitely won't be using an official review. Already used that one. Actually.
Yep. Definitely. So we've currently so we've got about 2 minutes left to go. So I think it's just more a matter of resetting and bringing it back for Brisbane City Rollers. I think that it's still definitely in this game, just to sort of bring their strategy back and reset, get together. do the usual teamwork kind of thing.
Well, this time out, I'd just like to thank some of our sponsors here, the Adelaide Showgrounds, for providing us with such a great venue. Last 3, including this TGSS, have been held here, and it's just great. There's so much space, great skating surface, and just great amenities here at the showgrounds.
This is my first TGSS actually, and it's immense. Adelaide Showgrounds is enormous. So for anyone who hasn't been to a TGSS, definitely come on down to the next one because you'll be amazed. And there's so much roller derby on. It's been a very exciting morning so far with the games that we've had. Yeah,
45 leagues, over 1,000 skaters. Just phenomenal. Probably 1,500 people, including refs, commentators, NSOs, support staff. I mean, it is quite amazing.
Absolutely. And I think someone was saying there's about 170 refs, so it's just this huge zebra huddle. It's amazing. So we have a Salt and Pepper jamming for South Sea Roller Derby, and she's claimed lead jammer. Sally with only one blocker left to contend with. That's Betty Doom.
And Crash Bandicoot is off to the penalty box for South Sea as well.
But Pepper's on her scoring pass. And she getting a little bit of offense from Cotton Candy. But generally she's pretty ducky and weavy and makes her way through anyway. Calling it off while in a split leg weave. So fancy.
Well, Veruca Assault back on the jam line again for Brisbane City. Could be every second to third jam we're seeing Veruca out there at the moment.
Absolutely, very high rotation. But she's a very effective jammer, and we've got the similar pairing up with Fizzgig again. I think they're just discussing someone going off from South Sea Roller Derby for an elbows, but I think the penalty box is full, so she will have to sit. I believe that was Coffin Candy.
She'll join the queue for the penalty box. Brisbane City out quickly. Veruca Assault, lead jammer.
And Fizzgig just making her way to the front, through for her initial pass. Oh, hop, skip and a jump, but sadly.
Yeah, Veruca Assault couldn't stay in there. Did well, called off the jam.
And we've got an official review being called by Zoom, the alternate for South Sea Roller Derby.
Interesting outfit for a bench manager.
Absolutely. I think it harks back to sort of Mario Kart or something similar. I think it's kind of like a Luigi.
Was that the Luigi Mario challenge bout earlier? Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think that's probably it. It was pretty outstanding. I think just more colour coordination, getting the blue and red and white going on.
Well, some of our other sponsors here are Rod Train, who providers of the huge badass media truck on site. If you can make it down here at all, you'll see there's a semi-trailer in the main pavilion with a massive screen on it that's giving details and live feeds of all the other games that are happening in the various pavilions here. And it's quite an impressive setup. So if you need something like that, some sort of big ass truck, Mac truck with a screen on it.
You can have a screen on it.
Go check out Rod Train. Absolutely. Rod Train Promotions.
I don't know how many people that we would be talking to would be in need of a big ass media truck, but
you just never know. Who knows? You never know.
It might be one of those days where you're just like, that's right, I totally do need a big ass media truck.
Could be for a child's party.
Yep.
Could be, I don't know, you might be giving an address that you need to 1,000
people on skates, generally. So we have Anita Amputate for South Sea up against Rocket Ma'am. So this is another coupling we've been seeing quite regularly. And South Sea taking the front line since they're down a couple of skaters, so they'll try and offer a little bit of offense if they can. And drawing them back.
And looks like we've got a skater down here.
That's Anita Amputate, unfortunately. So we'll see. She looks like she's making her way off, crawling her way off.
Well, I think she's trying to get off without assistance here. So, but I think the jam was stopped for her, so she'll have to sit out 3 regardless, even if she can continue. And then she looks like she's in a fair bit of pain right now.
Absolutely, it could just be a cramp. Hopefully, we'll see if she makes it back out. that would be a big loss for South Sea Roller Derby if we lose. I need to amputate for that one.
First aid with her now. We'll hopefully get an update on that during half time and let you know what's happening there. In the meantime, the jam will be reset. Fizgig jamming for South Sea. No,
unfortunately, no. We've reached half time.
No, we have reached half time. Oh, not
how
no
time flies when you don't have a video feed for a little bit and you're not talking at people.
Well, that is half time. We'll give you a break. Not that you've been listening to us for that long, but you may need a break anyway. We'll be back in around about 8 minutes' time with the second half. All right, gear checks are underway for the second half here. It is South Sea 69 plays Brisbane 36 at the moment, so not a lot in it. But well, I think we're going to see an excellent second half, a low-scoring defensive game at the moment.
Yeah, I think if we see a little bit more offense maybe from Brisbane City Rollers, we will be a bit more successful. Both teams getting riled up with their various chants. Haven't yet learnt the South Sea Roller Derby chant. I'm pretty sure it's South Sea Siren Sink Hips, which is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, that's a tough one to say. I did manage to catch some of the Brisbane City chant, and it's quite involved.
It is. It's quite long, but you can just go day by day. Punk blockers, that works. That's fine.
Well, we've got Sullivan on the jam line for Brisbane, up against Fizzgig for South Sea.
And here we have two fairly similar jammers, both very steppy. They go up on their toe stops and run around, and they're very good at finding small gaps.
Well, Sullivan's already proved out there that she's a very quick skater as well, so if she gets in a gap, she'll go through it very quickly. Absolutely.
So it looks like she's trying to slipstream through. Doesn't quite make it through there, though.
Well, Fizzgig with the early advantage, but not through yet. There she is now, lead jammer to Fizzgig. Sullivan right behind her, though.
So we'll see what she does with this one, because there is still the opportunity for South Sea to make some points out of this one. Do currently have Coffin Candy trying to make her way back into the engagement zone.
Fizzgig looking like she's just going to call it off. There she goes now.
That was a pretty comprehensive hit by Sullivan. That was a real message for Fizzgig there.
Yeah, well, Fizzgig was just sort of messing around a bit, not really taking the jam seriously, just eating the clock. And Sullivan said, well, let's put an end to this, and I'll put you on the floor and you can call it off. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just continue doing the thing, which is roller derby.
Florence the Machine with the star for South Sea. Fang for Brisbane.
Full complement of skaters, blockers on the track, so 5 on 5. And Fang choosing to go for the outside, but gets hit out by Pepper, but she still has to engage with or come behind Titosaurus.
Fang ducking and weaving, picks up lead jammer, doesn't manage to stay on the track though, but she can. Oh no, gets called for the track cut.
That was a pretty unfortunate one. We're going into jammer switcheroo moment.
Well, both jammers going basically at the same time. One for use of forearms, one for a track cut.
So. Well, we won't have any lead jammer for this one, so we'll just play out the full 2 minutes and see how many points we can all get.
Well, Florence the Machine bulldozing her way through there.
Fang having a little bit of trouble with Titosaurus. Just effectively taking her to the inside and just generally being in her way a lot.
That was Florence the Machine's first pass, so this is now a scoring pass.
And so we're getting natural Grand Slam at the moment.
Oh, good hit there on Florence the Machine.
She looks like she's really like challenging her life thoughts right now.
Kimikaze with eyes for the jammer there.
I think Salty's really working her way over for Florence. So I think she got sent there for a clockwise block. And Titosaurus also being sent for a clockwise block.
Well, Florence the Machine picks up 5 points there. We see a couple of skaters come back on for Brisbane. Nasty and Fang rejoining the pack from the rear. But Florence the Machine really skating well now and picking up a lot of points in this jam.
I think most Brisbane City Rollers still trying to make their way through for a second pass. But sadly, Fang doesn't pick up any points. And Florence makes another 4 just on that last one there. Sorry, guys, that was actually Fang who got 4 points as opposed to Florence.
Yeah, Fang managing to get the 4 on that scoring pass.
It was a hard-fought 4, though.
It was a hard-fought 4, and Florence definitely getting the advantage in that jam.
So we have a new jammer. So first time coming up for Slam Dora. Haven't seen her come out just yet. This is her first jam for the tournament. And she makes it through for lead jammer.
Well, not a bad way to start off your jamming in the tournament. Picking up lead jammer. Rocket Man on the floor in the middle of the track. Not going to be scoring any points there.
Absolutely. But Slam just getting hit out by Veruca Salt. Oh, doesn't quite make it up. And does get sent for the cut. Or maybe does not get sent for the cut. No, does not get sent for the cut. One of the Brisbane skaters getting called out of play there and sent to the penalty box.
That would probably be it.
In any case, Slam makes it through for her 4 points and 5 points. And again, we see Sullivan and Fizgig on the jammer line. BCR with the pack advantage for 3-2.
And Sullivan takes advantage of that, picks up lead jammer. Oh, Fizgig gets the whip and does a pirouette and gets through.
Yeah. That was very fancy from Fizgig. She's got a lot of track to cover though. Sullivan's already made it through for a scoring pass, and South Sea seem to be just bleeding blockers at the moment. Coffin Candy off for a forearms.
Well, that's good news for Brisbane. They need some sort of advantage here on the track.
Absolutely.
84 now plays 44. These are shorter 20-minute halves in the pool stages of this tournament, and time can get away from you just before you even know it.
Absolutely, and I think everyone seems to be sort of frazzled and wanting to get people out as quickly as possible. The BCR bench for a second just looked like they were sort of a bit confused as to who was up next. Nonetheless, we're on the way, and
well, Fang is lead jammer, but she's sucked back into the pack.
so
Anita Amputate,
sure
who...
she's aware. Yep, no, she
she's
got it.
She's aware now. Anita Amputate is back on the track, but not lead jammer. Looked to score some points there. Unsuccessful. So Anita Amputate obviously recovering from that injury sustained in the first half. So it looks like the update on that is she's okay.
She's okay, and she's jamming. And so again, we have Fizgig and Sullivan on the jammer line. Fizgig playing a little bit of a mental game against Sullivan as well, just sort of being quite territorial as she's moving across.
Yeah, the last couple of jams, Fizgig's gone left and right on the jam line before the jam has started. So really trying to get in their heads, play some tactical work even before the jam starts. Oh, Fizgig.
Almost running into her own players who are trying to get back onto the track.
Coffin Candy almost being an absolute headache for her own skater there.
But she manages to get her 2 points and call it off successfully. South Sea holding on to that blocker at the back of the pack there.
Well, Anita Amputate again back on the track with the star for South Sea. Veruca Salt for Brisbane.
Ref helicopter going into the middle to clarify something. We're not entirely sure. Doesn't have an official review, so...
Well, deciding not to use his official review so early in this half. Maybe he's learned something from that. And Anita Amputate.
From previous jams, yes.
Anita Amputate is your lead jammer.
So she's one more blocker to contend with for Salty. So she's got Shove Bug just at the very end and Salt and Pepper.
But Anita Amputate is through, picks up 4 points there. Veruca Salt only just ahead of her, but a lap behind. Anita Amputate calls off the jam.
Absolutely. And team timeout called for Brisbane City Rollers. And while we have this team timeout, we'd just like to thank some of our sponsors. So that would be Rydell Skates. Founded in 1945, Rydell Skates has been dedicated to providing skaters everywhere with the highest quality skates at the absolute best value. Over 65 years on 3 generations of family ownership, Rydell has perfected their craftsmanship, design and fitting techniques to guarantee skaters get what they demand for their skates and much more. And BSS Light Audio Visual these guys are the year-round sponsors of ADRD. Please give a think. Yeah. We love these guys. So thank you so much for the discounts on the AV and lighting gear. So without BSS, we wouldn't have the streaming available to the folks back home and around the world. So for people over in New Zealand as well. And we wouldn't have beautiful commentators to listen to and sultry sounds of Mike Mann and anorexia.
So once again, thank you to BSS Lighting.
Absolutely. Or maybe not. We don't know.
We'll let you be the judge of that.
Exactly. Got Sullivan and Fizzgig up again on the jammer line. Sullivan looks to be sort of challenging Fizzgig's previous messages of intimidation.
Well, Fizzgig goes around the outside. Vixen didn't even see her then. Not quite sure how she missed her, but Fizzgig took full advantage, and his lead jammer, Sullivan, leaps over one of the South Sea skaters there.
She does not look happy about this situation, unfortunately.
That was Florence the Machine, who was the down skater, but Sullivan, well, she doesn't manage to get round to score, but before Fizzgig calls it off.
But she still made it through, so that's what counts.
50-point lead now to South Sea. Fang looking to close that gap for Brisbane.
It's still possible. I mean, we've got about 11 minutes left in this game.
Well, we saw a big comeback from Adelaide in the last bout on another track. Wasn't on the stream, but in the last minute against Richter City, Adelaide came back from about 30 points down. So if Brisbane start this now, and this is a good start here, getting lead jammer, they can still win this game.
Absolutely. Slamdora just getting a whip from Shovebug just at the front, so she's out for her initial pass. But Fang is fast, and she is coming around to score her points. We're currently only getting a point for Salt and Pepper.
Well, Fang doing the right thing, calling it off. Only getting the 1 point, but importantly, South Sea not picking up any points there.
1v0 is better than 1-1. Fang trying to dispute points.
And seeing the bench manager from Brisbane also disputing the points, thinking there were two there.
Or possibly disputing an elbows?
No, he had the two symbol up as well. Trying to get the second point.
Trying to get a double. both points and an elbow penalty. Here we have Anita Amputate up against Sullivan again.
Well, once again, that outside line, Brisbane need to close down that outside of the track. They're obviously holding on to the inside, but South Sea have identified that there's that gap off the jam line on the outside and keep taking advantage of it.
No one's quite looking out for it. So Brisbane City Rollers getting drawn out to that outside and just allowing the jammers to just cut back in and straight use that inside line. It's the golden line. Sullivan still coming up against the South Sea Siren pack. Yet to make initial pass. She's getting held up quite effectively by Blondage and Florence. They're working really well together as a team. There's a bit of a pair. And
that's allowed Anita Amputate to get round and looking for a second Grand Slam here.
Tits running into her own play at Anita Amputate just while she was coming around for another scoring pass. And Sullivan's out for her initial pass.
Well, Anita Amputate will call off the jam here. Does so. Picks up 4 points there. Doesn't get the jammer lap point.
Sorry. It's possible that Sullivan is still sort of suffering from a bit of a fall this morning. So in the Canberra game, she fell quite considerably on her shoulder. So I think I saw her sort of holding her shoulder at the end of that jam. So it's possible that she's got a bit of a mental barrier that she's working with, unfortunately.
So was that Sullivan I saw earlier in the sling?
Possibly.
All right. So we there was a bit of talk that she'd broken something in her arm, but obviously not. She's back out on the track.
Well, maybe she has, and she's just wanting to play this game for Brisbane City Rollers.
Tough pool getting Canberra in your pool. They're a team on fire at the moment.
Absolutely.
Really one of the movers and shakers in Australian roller derby right now, Canberra Roller Derby League.
Very, very strong team, very formidable.
Veruca Salt picking up 4 points and calling off the jam. If they can keep doing that, Brisbane, they can claw back this lead. There is enough time, 7 minutes 40 on the clock. That's enough time, 4 and call it. This lead will close down in no time.
Looks like South Sea Sirens are aiming to speed up the pack a little bit, possibly try and outrun Brisbane City Rollers. It's seeming like a bit of an old school pivot line start with the pivot.
So much space. I mean, jammers must look up and suddenly be able to breathe. I mean,
yeah. It's not as intimidating.
Well, it looks like it's been effective for South Sea. Oh, almost anyway. Picks up lead jammer, but then gets sent for the track cut. Slam Dora will serve the 30 seconds.
So that leaves Rocket Man for the track entirely herself.
We'll wait to see if the lead jammer status stands. The may have been retracted.
It possibly would have been retracted because she wouldn't have sort of made her initial pass just yet. I think it was maybe a bit too quick for the lead jammer call. Rocket Man still struggling to make it way through.
No, lead jammer status does stand. Rocket Man not lead jammer here. So the track cut must have come just after the call for lead jammer happened.
Rocket Man just jumped the apex, which was spectacular. This is her first TGSS. This is her first ever big tournament with Brisbane City Rollers, so it's very exciting for her. And she's through again for another scoring pass. Another 4 points.
Well, good work. Really closing this gap here, Rocket Man. Doing her best. It is still 50 points, but there is still time if things go Brisbane's way.
Absolutely. Rocket Man still just pulling her way through, just going around and scoring her points. Another 4 points. Really tussling with Crash Bandicoot at the front there. And Sullivan doing some effective offense, clearing away Slam Dora and Tits.
Well, we're starting to see some skaters getting tired out there. Their second game of the day and late into the second game as well. So fitness will play its part. We'll see if that helps Brisbane or if their skaters are looking just as tired as South Sea, because South Sea saw a few grimaces on faces at the end of that jam.
Absolutely. I think the floor is actually probably coming a cropper with a lot of skaters as well. I don't think they're quite used to this slipperiness. I believe it's quite slippery. I know that Brisbane City Rollers at the showgrounds, they have concrete floor that they skate on, so they're probably used to this level of slipperiness, whereas South Sea Sirens, that their floor is quite grippy. It's actually in an indoor skate kind of area, so...
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's slippery underfoot for when you're cornering and that sort of, and just skating along. But then when you try and stop, it's actually unexpectedly tacky.
Yeah, right.
So it's a strange combination that is bothering a few skaters out there.
They're probably not quite used to it.
We'd also like to thank some more sponsors while we've got a chance. Green Monster and a skate company whose total focus is to produce fresh ideas and innovative product design to the market of roller skating, specifically for Derby. Radar Wheels, they've been kind enough to donate some after-party raffle prizes. So if you're coming down to the after-party, make sure you get some raffle tickets for that.
Absolutely.
And Faster Skates also donated some after-party raffle prizes. So... Look, there's some
pretty fetch prizes there for the after party. Absolutely.
We are in an official review here, so Copter calling his official review for this half.
Looks like Brisbane City Rollers, despite the fact that there is no music in the auditorium, are still just having an official review dance. Kind of doing gangster signs or something like that.
Well, official review is over. Unfortunately, we don't have an announcer official, so we're not going to find out exactly what that was about.
We could make it up, but then we'd be wrong, and that would not be fair on the folks back home.
whatever it was, it looks like it was not upheld.
Yeah, nothing much changed, so we'll just assume that. So we have Fang against Anita Amputate and another pivot line start. This time from Brisbane City Rollers, obviously instigating this, which is, I'm guessing, to just speed it up a little bit. Fang generally relies on having a little bit of speed and a little bit of space to work with.
Also could be to counter that outside line that keeps being taken by South Sea on these starts. So gives the pack a little bit more time to settle in and get set before the jammer arrives.
Absolutely. They've still got to burn some time for Sullivan to come out from the penalty box as well.
Well, works well for Brisbane on that occasion.
Absolutely.
Picking up lead jammer here.
So Fang's through, and Anita Amputate just having a little bit of trouble at the front. Bunny thinking that she's getting called for out of play, but I don't believe she had been given that one-up.
Oh, good work from Brisbane, opening up the inside beautifully.
Beautiful, wonderful offense from them, and trying to burn a little bit of time.
Well, calls it just in time there, Fang. Making sure there were no points for Anita Amputate.
That was very close.
Very, very close. Probably would have called it a little bit earlier and not given a bench manager quite such a heart attack there.
Absolutely. So still about a 40-point deficit at the moment for Brisbane City Rollers. And we've got Sullivan standing in the penalty box, so she's almost ready to come out. And Kimbo Kazi effectively hitting Fizz out and drawing the track cut.
Yeah, Fizzgig off to the penalty box for the track cut. It leaves Veruca Assault. Oh, Veruca Assault gets a track cut as well. She's off to the penalty box. We're going to see a quick turnaround.
So we'll see what the blockers can do with this. It's an interesting sort of strategy, that one, to see what they generally do with jammers coming out of the box.
Oh, Veruca Assault coming back on now as well. Not serving very long at all. But we will go the full 2 minutes in this jam, and this will start to test the fitness of the skaters when we're going to another track cut. Fizzgig off again. 3 track cuts in one jam.
Sullivan effectively drawing that track cut. She was adamant that she was in front of Fizzgig when she went back, and quite rightly so. She was awarded the track cut.
South Sea called out of play there. Have to let Veruca Assault go.
Salty questioning Copter what she's aiming to do. And Brisbane City Rollers still just playing passive offense, trying to maintain pack so that they can bring on Fizz and continue to block her.
Well, Fizzgig showing great determination there, not letting that wall get in her way. She's through. Vixen was the last line of defence, but couldn't hold her back.
Sullivan offering some effective offense, but I believe she might have been out of play when she was blocking Assault and Pepper.
Once again, Fizzgig showing great determination, picking up 4 on that pass. Veruca Assault coming around again as well to try and score some points. Interesting to watch when the jammers are half a lap behind each other and approaching the pack. One approaches and then the other approaches almost in sync with each other.
Absolutely, and seeing what the blockers tend to do and how quickly they can sort of switch between doing defense and then offering their jammers some offense.
Time running out now for Brisbane. They're making a bit of a comeback here, 36 points in it. Only 1 minute 30 left though, so 1 or 2 jams left, so it's all or nothing now for Brisbane. And Fang does well, does she? She stays in, she gets lead jammer.
Pirouettes on the front, she's stepping around Danny Darko super effectively. But Slam is just behind and Fang tries to eat the baby unsuccessfully.
Yeah, no time to waste there for Fang. She calls off the jam. Time running out. Brisbane need to maybe just score a quick 4 points, call off this jam, reset, get another one, get within striking distance.
Absolutely. I think eating the baby is more for people who just want to demoralise and as opposed to actually get out and score some points. Nonetheless, we have Rocket Mam and Anita Amputate on the jammer line.
Well, Rocket Man given a big responsibility here. She did well in her last jam. Let's see if she can replicate that here.
Absolutely. Probably down to the final jam.
Oh, Rocket Man picks up the track cut. A Salt and Pepper does well, goes back and draws the cut. That should seal it.
This is not the jammer that you want to have as the powerless jam for Brisbane City Rollers.
Oh, the crowd going up with the amputate chant there, and she does well. She all on her own up against 4 blockers and gets through. Tough work, and really does seal it for her team now.
And Salt and Pepper sent off for a destruction of pack, I believe, leaving Brisbane City Rollers for still a full complement.
Another 5 points there to Anita Amputate as Rocket Man rejoins the game.
Period clock has run out, so for Anita Amputate, if she were to call it off now, that would be that. But we'll see if she just wants to. Nope.
She goes. Simon says game is over. Anita Amputate calls off the jam. You don't often see the hands on the head to the hips these days. It's just like
yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's for show. It's for the big bench coach kind of show. But it's usually shouldn't be replicating that necessarily as the jammer. You want that quick kind of hands to the hips. But there you go. It's quite a casual sort of call off, isn't it?
It is. Well, especially for the end of a game, 50 points the difference. It looks like even with a potential score adjustment here, Brisbane are not going to make it. South Sea will be your victors here.
Brisbane City Rollers taking a knee on the outside line to thank South Sea Roller Derby for their time and their skill.
Scores are all okay. Everything is in order. 130 to South Sea. Brisbane City 80. South Sea take it out.
Literally a 50-point difference.
Well, it's been Mike Mann
and Anorexia. So
thanks for joining us. Hopefully a few of you joined us after our technical difficulties. There'll be hopefully a game coming up pretty soon at 5 o'clock with audio and video for the whole time. And until then, keep your fingers crossed, and we will be out of here for now.